You can follow every rule, honor every promise, protect every vulnerable person in your care, and still be called the villain. The system doesn't reward integrity, it tests it. And those who pass, they don't just survive, they become the quiet force that shifts the balance back toward truth. This isn't about becoming ruthless. It's about becoming unreadable to corruption. It's about understanding that in a world where loyalty is a currency and truth is a liability, the most powerful people aren't the loudest, they're the clearest. They see the game for what it is, not what they wish it to be. This is dark intelligence, not as a weapon, but as armor, not to dominate, but to defend, not to exploit, but to expose. And today, you'll learn the 7 traits that separate those who get crushed by broken systems from those who quietly rebuild them. This knowledge is not for the faint of heart, and it is not for the selfish. It is for the protectors, the witnesses, the ones who refuse to look away. Use it to shield the truth, not to bury it. Because in the end, the most dangerous person in the room isn't the one with nothing to lose. It's the one who knows exactly what must be saved. Dark intelligence is not a manual for manipulation. It is a survival guide for the ethically committed. It's the art of navigating a world where good intentions are often met with bad faith, and where your greatest strength, your integrity, can be used as a weapon against you. Think of it this way. If you walk into a lion's den unarmed, you are not brave, you are foolish. Dark intelligence is your armor. It is your awareness of the lion's nature, its patterns, its weaknesses. It is knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to strike, not to kill, but to escape and warn others. Here we will reference Niccolo Machiavelli, not as a prophet of cruelty, but as a diagnostician of power. He wrote in The Prince, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." His work was not an endorsement of deceit, but a stark revelation of how power operates in the real world, a world far removed from our ideals. Our purpose is not to teach you to become a prince. Our purpose is to teach you how to survive the prince's court, to ensure that your commitment to truth, family, and justice does not become your undoing. These 7 traits are your tools. They are your shield and your compass. They are for protection, not destruction. For accountability, not revenge. For building a world where ethics are not a weakness, but the foundation of true power. Trait 1, strategic silence. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In our context, this is not about haste, but about timing. Strategic silence is the discipline of withholding your truth until the moment it can be protected, and until it can land with the force of undeniable fact. Most people speak too soon. They reveal their hand in a burst of righteous anger, only to be isolated, discredited, or legally silenced. They confuse honesty with immediacy. But strategic silence understands that in a corrupt system, truth without proof is just another opinion. Imagine you are a compliance officer, and you discover falsified logs for a controlled substance shipment. Your first instinct is to confront your boss. But you know he has allies in legal, and your word against his is a losing battle, so you say nothing. Instead, you secure digital backups. You timestamp your findings. You document every anomaly. You wait. This is not cowardice. This is strategy. Your silence is not empty. It is full of preparation. You are not hiding the truth. You are fortifying it. Strategic silence is also a shield for others. It protects whistleblowers, vulnerable seniors, and innocent colleagues who could be caught in the crossfire of your premature disclosure. You hold your tongue, not out of fear, but out of responsibility. The ethical guardrail is absolute. Never use silence to protect the guilty, only to protect the truth itself. There is a critical difference between concealing a crime and preserving evidence of one. One is complicity, the other is courage. When the time is right, when your evidence is irrefutable, your position is secure, and your action can create real change, that is when you break your silence. And when you do, your words will not be a whisper. They will be a verdict. Trait 2. Contextual integrity. Machiavelli observed, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Most interpret this as a call to deception. But for the ethically intelligent, it's a call to translation. Contextual integrity is the skill of adapting your expression of your core values so that they can be heard, understood, and acted upon by those who need to hear them. You do not change your principles. You change your packaging. You understand that your brother, steeped in denial about his own actions, will not respond to the language of fraud or theft, but he might listen if you frame it as protecting mom's legacy or honoring the family name. You are not being fake, you are being effective. You are meeting him on the bridge of his own values to lead him toward your truth. In a professional setting, this means speaking the language of risk to a CFO, the language of patient safety to a clinician, and the language of legal liability to a general counsel. Your core message, "This is wrong and must stop," remains unchanged, but its delivery is tailored to resonate with the listener's worldview. This is not manipulation. Manipulation seeks to make someone do something against their best interest. Contextual integrity seeks to help someone see their own best interest more clearly. It is communication with a conscience. The danger lies in over-adapting. Never compromise your non-negotiables. Your integrity is your anchor, but how you cast that anchor, the words you choose, the stories you tell, the fears you address, can be fluid. A diamond has many facets, but it is still one solid stone. Your values are that stone. Your communication is the light that reflects off its different sides, making it visible to everyone in the room. Master this, and you become a bridge builder in a world of walls. You become the person who can turn adversaries into allies, not by changing your mind, but by helping them find their own path to the right decision. Trait 3. Outcome. Anchoring. Machiavelli famously stated, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." This is often twisted to justify betrayal, but in the hands of the ethically intelligent, it becomes a principle of ruthless pragmatism. Your ultimate loyalty is not to your ego, your reputation, or even your plan. It is to the outcome that serves justice. Outcome anchoring means you measure your success not by whether you were right, but by whether harm was stopped. Did the stolen life savings of a senior citizen get returned? Was the batch of mislabeled, potentially lethal medication recalled before it reached patients? Did your documentation lead to a policy change that protects dozens of others? Most people get lost in the drama of the moment. They want to win the argument, to be seen as the hero, to have their moral superiority acknowledged. But in the real world, these are distractions. They are the ego's games. The truly powerful person asks a single, brutal question. What concrete, positive result did my action produce? This might mean choosing an anonymous tip to federal investigators over a dramatic public confrontation. It might mean accepting a settlement that includes a non-disclosure agreement, but also guarantees the immediate removal of a dangerous executive. It might mean letting go of the need to be personally vindicated so that the larger mission can succeed. Ethics without results is performance. Integrity with impact is power. You are not here to feel good about your process. You are here to ensure a better outcome for the vulnerable. If your current strategy isn't producing that outcome, you change it. You are stubborn about your goal, but flexible about your method. Your attachment is to the result, not the role you play in achieving it. This is the ultimate form of service. It is leadership that is willing to disappear so that the mission can prevail. Trait 4. Observational patience. Machiavelli advised leaders to follow the footsteps of great men. In our world, the advice is inverted. Watch the footsteps of the corrupt, for they always leave a trail. Observational patience is the art of letting others reveal themselves through their own inconsistencies, their own greed, and their own arrogance, while they perform loyalty. You collect data. You do not need to accuse. You do not need to confront. You simply watch, listen, and document. You understand that liars are terrible at consistency. Over time, their stories shift, their timelines warp, and their alibis crack. Your job is to be the silent witness to this unraveling. Consider a personal scenario. Your brother claims your mother's dementia made her sign over her assets to him, but you notice he's using her credit card for luxury vacations. He talks about her confusion, yet she signed complex financial documents with perfect clarity. You say nothing. You start a private log. Dates, transactions, screenshots, witness statements. You let his own actions build the case against him. This is not passive. It is the most active form of defense. You are gathering the one thing that can cut through emotion, denial, and institutional inertia, irrefutable evidence. You are trading the short-term satisfaction of an angry accusation for the long-term power of a documented truth. Observational patience requires immense self-control. It means swallowing your rage, your grief, and your sense of betrayal. It means trusting that time is your ally, not your enemy. The corrupt are in a hurry. They are driven by greed and fear of exposure. You, however, can afford to wait. You are building a fortress of facts, brick by brick. And when the time comes, that fortress will not just protect you, it will bring down the entire facade they've built around their lies. Trait 5. Narrative sovereignty. Machiavelli claimed, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But for the modern truth seeker, a better maxim is, "It is better to be believed than liked." Narrative sovereignty is the power to own your story so completely that no institution, no family member, no former employer can redefine your motives or rewrite your history to suit their agenda. When you are fired for whistleblowing, they will call you disgruntled. When you expose elder abuse in your family, they will call you a traitor. Their goal is to shift the narrative from their actions to your character, to make the story about your anger or your greed instead of their fraud. You reclaim your narrative by controlling the record. You keep meticulous, private copies of every email, every report, every conversation. You name events accurately, not a family disagreement, but a scheme to defraud a senior citizen. You refuse to let euphemisms soften criminal acts. This is not about seeking publicity. It is about creating an immutable account of what happened. It is your insurance policy against gaslighting and character assassination. When the official story is a lie, your private record is the truth. Narrative sovereignty also means you decide when and how your story is told. You may choose to share it with federal investigators, with a trusted lawyer, or with a support group for whistleblowers. But you will not let it be told for you in boardrooms or family meetings where the goal is to silence you. Your story is your legacy. It is the map you leave for others who will face the same battles. By owning it, you ensure that your fight was not just a personal tragedy, but a documented act of courage that can inspire and protect others. You are not just a victim of a broken system. You are its chronicler and its challenger. Trait 6. Principled detachment. Machiavelli warned, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner effects his ruin than his preservation." This is the essence of principled detachment. It is the ability to care deeply while refusing to be emotionally hijacked by guilt, false loyalty, or manufactured crises. It is loving your brother, but not funding his fraud. It is honoring your mother, but not letting her name be used as a shield for theft. Most people are enslaved by their attachments. They stay in toxic jobs because they fear being labeled a failure. They stay silent about family corruption because they fear being called disloyal. They compromise their values to preserve a fragile peace. This is not love. It is fear wearing a mask. Principled detachment is freedom. It is the clear-eyed understanding that your worth is not tied to their approval. You can fulfill your duty to your family by protecting your mother's estate, even if it means going to war with your brother. You can fulfill your duty to your profession by reporting a safety violation, even if it costs you your job. This detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the separation of your emotional bonds from your ethical obligations. You can grieve the loss of a relationship while still doing what is right. You can feel the pain of betrayal while still acting with unwavering integrity. The key is to identify your non-negotiables. What are the lines you will not cross? What are the harms you will not enable? Once you have that clarity, you can navigate any emotional storm. You become unshakable. They can call you names, threaten your livelihood, or try to isolate you, but they cannot control your choices, because your choices are anchored not in their emotions, but in your principles. And that is a power they can never take from you. Trait 7. Ethical foresight. Machiavelli wrote, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." We invert this wisdom. Never win a victory that poisons the future. Ethical foresight is the discipline of looking beyond the immediate win to the long-term consequences of your actions. It is asking, who will suffer if I act rashly? Who will be protected if I act wisely? This is the trait that separates a vigilante from a guardian. A vigilante wants to see the guilty punished now. A guardian wants to ensure the vulnerable are safe always. Your focus is not on the drama of the takedown, but on the stability of the aftermath. Imagine you discover a corrupt funeral home is overcharging grieving families. Your first instinct is to go public, to shame them into oblivion. But ethical foresight makes you pause. What about the families currently in their care? Will they be abandoned mid-service? Will their loved ones' remains be held hostage? So you contact the state licensing board and a local elder protection fund first. You ensure a safe transition for the current clients before you pull the trigger. This is strategic compassion. It is understanding that your actions create ripples, and you are responsible for the shape of those ripples. It means sometimes delaying your moment of truth to protect others from the fallout. It means choosing a slower, more complex path because it leads to a more just and stable outcome. True power is not just about seeing the chessboard, it's about seeing 3 moves ahead and ensuring that your victory leaves the kingdom stronger, not shattered. Dark intelligence, at its highest level, is not about navigating the darkness for yourself. It is about ensuring that your passage through it leaves a path of light for everyone who follows. These 7 traits are not a ladder to personal power. They are a shield for your integrity and a compass for your conscience. They are for those who have seen the darkness in systems and in people, and have chosen not to become part of it, but to stand against it with eyes wide open. So here is your challenge. Pick one trait that resonates with you the most. For the next 7 days, practice it in your daily interactions, not to outsmart people, but to outlast the lies. Notice how your clarity changes the dynamics around you. Notice how your strategic silence gives your words more weight. Notice how your focus on outcomes cuts through the noise. And if this message found you at the right time, drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose to see clearly, act ethically, and never confuse silence with consent. The world needs fewer players and more protectors who understand the game. That's not darkness, that's duty. Stay strategic, stay ethical, and above all, stay powerful.